Hello and welcome back to the Perth to Paisley podcast, episode number 142. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see the emotions already are split because yes, we're here to speak about the first Edinburgh Derby of the season that at one point looked to be going for a comfortable win for the good guys in Gorgie. But no, finishes a draw because of a minute and a half of madness. There's a whole lot to talk about. And as ever, I am Daniel McIver, who'll be doing the talking with Adam Kennedy, the man who has been blocked by Heart of Midlothian, and I'm not going to say it's my doing, but I'm not against it. Hi, how are you?
Interesting. That seems like somebody that's a guilty party. Yeah, I've been better, mate. I've been better. I'm so angry, so angry. You got to laugh rather than cry at you. So I really am not happy after the weekend. I'm not looking forward to this episode. I'm not looking forward to the international break. I'm not looking forward to when we come back from the international break. So life's just not really that good. But hey, it could be worse. So yeah, how are you?
I'm doing good. I was saying to Adam before, and I don't know if it's just that I'm getting older, but after about an hour, I was over the result. I was very angry in that hour, but after that, I was kind of just over it. So this is going to be interesting to see if anger starts to come bubbling back as we talk about it.
This is going to haunt me till December and the next time that we get the chance to play those. So yeah.
Well, we'll see. So as ever, first, we will go around the grounds.
Who cares?
It's a fair point, but there's one result that I mainly want to speak about because I found it interesting and surprising. But
okay.
There was 3 games on the Saturday. Celtic comfortably won at Kilmarnock.
Don't care.
No one cares. We had our game. Livingston kind of putting the boot in to Motherwell a wee bit now, as that is Motherwell still without a win in a few, as Livingston won 2-0 at home. And then, again, weird results. Not at St Mirren Rangers, as Steve Davis finally gets a win as interim Rangers boss, as the new boss looks to be. Is it? Do you say Clement? Is it Clement?
Philippe Clement.
Yeah, so it looks like it's going to be him, but Steve Davis did manage to get a win. And then the other weird result from the weekend is that despite not winning yet, despite getting beat by us, getting beat by Hibs, getting beat by St Mirren, St Johnstone have now went to Celtic Park and Pittodrie and left with points in their hand. Admittedly, not a win yet, but Aberdeen finishes 0-0 against St Johnstone. What did you make of the other 5 games alongside ours?
With regards to Celtic, don't care.
Yeah, who cares?
With regards to Livingston, Motherwell, very surprised. What's that now? 4 straight defeats from Motherwell?
I think it's 4.
4. Yikes. And that makes that last
gasp
loss to Celtic even more heartbreaking, because then at least it had something.
I've just checked. It is 4 straight losses in the week.
4 straight losses. A big win for Livy, that. Much needed.
Yep.
What was the other Saturday game?
The other Saturday game was us, which we'll get into.
No, but there's 4. Edinburgh Derby, Celtic.
No, there was only 3.
Livy. Oh, of course, because the other was rained off. That's right, Dundee, Ross County, sorry. And then Sunday, Rangers obviously massively aided by that red card and penalty. Once they had that, there was no real turning back. It's nice to see them get a helping hand from the officials. It's not like they need it.
In fairness, it is a red and a penalty.
It is, but it just
still
that's St Mirren's best chance to beat Rangers and Paisley, and they pissed it away for themselves.
Yeah, definitely.
And speaking of a decent chance to claim 3 points, Aberdeen, it's a good thing that they're just as shite as we are, because that is an absolute shocker against St. Johnstone. I
couldn't believe that.
As you say, how on earth does St Johnstone pick up points at Parkhead and Pittodrie? It's absolutely
and then get beat by us, who never win at McDonald's.
Exactly. Absolutely crazy. So yeah, a couple surprises in there. I'll be honest, mate. I don't really give a toss for the other games.
Well, we'll move right on into the main event of today. So it was the first Edinburgh Derby of the season. Stephen Naismith lined up in what the BBC has as a 4-2-3-1. You were we disagreed on what we thought it was. Yep. Yeah. I looked at the team and thought that might be what we played the final 10 minutes against Kilmarnock with. I'll be honest, I think you were right in the first half at the very least. It was a 4-2-3-1.
It might have changed.
Yeah, which will,
laterally.
I think, be the big talking point of this podcast.
I don't want to talk about
but
that.
we started the game with, obviously, Xander Clark in goals. I don't know why. I was about to call him Steve Clark there. I just had Steve Clark in goals. Love that. A back four of Stephen Kingsley, Kai Rolls, Frankie Kent, and Toby Sibic. A two of Cammy Devlin, who was returning, Callum Neuenhoff as well. And then a three of Kenny Vargas and Alan Forrest interchanging on the wings with Alex Lowry coming in to play in behind Shankland. I think the big talking point from it was that one, Devlin was back in after his head knock, but two, Alex Lowry starts after two cameos off the bench. How did you feel about that? Because I'll be honest, I was worried, which now in hindsight is very foolish, but I was worried that he was best used as an impact sub off the bench.
I'll be honest with you, McIver. I don't think there's anything wrong in thinking like that. I thought it was pretty harsh on George Grant as well, to be honest. That was the only real concern I had with regards to the team to 10. I think everywhere else, we were pretty much happy
almost
with.
Picks itself.
Yeah, to be honest. And I think you probably would have found reasons why you justify picking Lowry over Grant. Obviously, that was the case. We saw it by the weekend performance. That appeared justified.
Yep.
Equally, by the same score, if you just started George Grant, I might now change my belief and my way of thinking to think that he could have contributed in that final third. So, yeah, no real qualms with the team, to be honest. And this is where I know I might be racing ahead of myself here already, but this is where I don't necessarily find fault with the manager. I feel like for an hour, selection, tactics, everything was spot on and couldn't have gone any better. Until what happens.
Well, we'll get to that soon because, as you say, the game started very well for us. 6 minutes in, Toby Sibic sends just a long ball forward that Shankland nods on. Alex Lowry gets in behind with, but it's hit straight at Marshall and goes out for a corner. Then,
sorry, can't blame him for trying to catch David Marshall. It was near post.
Not at all.
He's prone to. It was actually a decent effort. And to be fair, that G'd the crowd up because in the piss and rain, wasn't exactly bouncing from the get-go.
No.
The only real times that I felt some kind of atmosphere pre-match was Hibs doing their embarrassing huddle.
Is that been a thing, by the way? Do they just do that now?
No, I've never once seen them do that.
No.
It's the most tin pot thing I've ever seen. So there was that huddle, that embarrassment. The Hearts team, whenever they finish their warm-up and they kind of
do the
clap round to the four stands and then it gets you going. Yeah. And then when the teams come out, and that was basically it.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that needed to happen. We need. I say it all the time, but like getting off to a quick start, have the crowd on your side rather than working against you, and we're on to something. So we needed an early chance, and he was actually quite unlucky with the effort. I didn't think it was too bad a strike.
Yeah, definitely. However, 90 seconds later, Hibs break in a 4-on-3 situation, and Martin Boyle takes it forward. His touch is actually quite heavy, and Kai Rolls goes to clear it out. However, Devlin either isn't aware that there's a shout or just thinks, I'm just making sure, trips Boyle, and as a result, gets the first booking of the game 8 minutes in.
That was an absolute certainty, can I just say. My mate that I go to the games with, he picked out 4 bookings at 25-1, had 20 quid on it, and 2 were in by 8 minutes.
Did he get it?
No. He needed the 2 Hibs bookings, but he had 2 Hearts ones, Devlin and Shankland, both of which were in by 8 minutes.
Yeah. That was the thing.
Really surprising.
It was very noticeable from a Hearts perspective that Colin was showing us more cards than Hibs.
Sick of that guy. I really need to watch my mouth with what I say about that man.
Yeah, Colin is... It's just a bad situation. And I mean this, I thought actually in the second half as well, there was a couple of times where our players just clearly fouled Hibs players for fouls that Colin had previously in the game given us fouls, and we got away with it, and Hibs were rightly being like, what? Yeah. It's like, he's one of our most senior officials. He's like classed as one of the best ones.
He's held in high regard by UEFA.
Yeah.
Just think about that for a second.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Mental. Absolutely mental.
It's crazy. The ball's kind of played across the back line before Kai Rose does one of his Zalyuka step-ups and plays the ball into Alex Lowry, drives forward, finds Sibic, who's overlapping on the right-hand side, who gets it back to Lowry, and he hits an effort from the edge of the box. But despite Marshall being rooted to the spot, it hits the post and goes the other side.
Oh, it was in.
Definitely. I was very much the same. And then 5 minutes later, Lowry hits another effort towards Marshall. However, it's quite slow. And then 2 minutes after that, Shankland shoots on the spin, but Marshall does get down well and pushes out for a corner. But for the first 25 minutes or so before we get to what happened next, it very much felt like we were in control of the game.
Oh, that first hour was as commanding as you could ever hope for.
Yeah.
All Hibs had was that venti free kick.
Yeah.
And so much so I even forgot about it before I watched the highlights again before we came on.
Yeah.
It's what makes it all the more infuriating. Like, it just is so...
Well, what was definitely not infuriating and what is hopefully going to live long in the memory for the man himself at the very least, because Alan Forrest scores goal of the season. I don't think it'll be beaten. I'd be very impressed if it was beaten. He picks up the ball on the far side as the camera is looking at him. He kind of goes to, I think he actually goes to try and beat a beater and hit the byline, but you see he kind of stops and goes, no, I'm going to cut in. He cuts in and he hits it with his left. And I was, obviously where I am in R, I'm right behind it. And it's one of them, as soon as he hits it, you're like, that's in. It's actually going in. And just, we've spoken for much of last season about our anger at Alan Forrest and how he had such a high at the start of the season, but never really made it. And then in pre-season, no one was really impressed with him. And at the start of the season, he didn't get much of a look in. But the last few games, we've been like, he's improved. He's looked good off the bench. He's looked good at Killie starting. He gets a goal at Ross County, and you're like, well, we maybe get something from him. I don't think anyone expected that from little Alan Forrest.
Wow. Do you know what it is? We've scored some right crackers down at Easter Road over the years. I immediately thought to myself, is that the best Hearts goal I've seen in a derby at Tynecastle? Because I can't think of many, if any, better.
So I could think of one, but I wasn't there.
Go on.
Miko's in the Boxing Day 3-2.
I don't even think that's as good a finish.
I think, though, just the context of it.
And the fact that, well, yeah, we pissed a 2-goal lead that day.
Yeah. And then you do that right at the end. You take it first time, edge of the box, cutting across it, and it goes like...
After all the chaos.
Yeah, Forrest goes in the top corner. Miko's goes in like the top corner. But I would accept if you were saying you think Forrest is better. Like, I think that's fair.
I was trying to think of others, like Arno Doom in that game, wearing this top.
Yep.
Is a beauty. Even Jamie Walker under
in the championship.
Robbie in the championship. Yeah.
Yep. We were getting beat 1-0 at the equaliser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in terms of ones that we've seen, I genuinely think that might top the lot.
I didn't even think of that, by the way. You're right. I can think of a lot at Easter Road.
Easter Road goals, but never at Tynecastle.
That is interesting.
It's weird. Just one of those random obscure thoughts that I had during the game. But going back to Alan Forrest, I mean, this will do his confidence the world of good.
Yeah.
I feel so sorry for him, given what happens later on in the game. But in terms of that as a moment, that is one way to shut a good load of Hearts fans up. Because, look, he does get his fair amount of stick, but that is right out the top drawer. I mean, I'm not being funny. If that was shown in a Premier League, say the North London Derby the other week, say that's James Maddison does that for Tottenham or Bukayo Saka for Arsenal. They're talking about it for weeks. I mean, what a goal. What a goal. And it came from nowhere as well. I don't even know what inspired him to do that. I just think he thought, to hell with this. I've got no real options here. I've got nothing to lose. So
I will say,
have some of that.
Shankland, I don't think is getting enough praise for his involvement in this which sounds weird because it's like it's a solo
He
wonder
drags
goal.
the space.
He makes a run, and as a result, the player who I don't know who it is. In fact, I can't remember.
A top centre forward, isn't it?
Yeah, just it creates a gap for Forrest to be able to go in, so then there's not a player then blocking it or anything like that.
Even support kind of up the right flank.
Yeah,
it does kind of open out for him because like he's occupied in the place that he'd tend to go. He could easily slip in Shanklin, but doesn't because he's, again, as you say, he's pulling the centre half out or whoever over to create the space. And like I say, I don't know. I don't know what comes over him. He just thinks, sod this. Have some of that, David Marshall. Just unbelievable. What a strike.
definitely.
Just a shame given the circumstances, what eventually happens.
So, interestingly, this is all from Hearts TV highlights. The next highlight in that package is our second goal. And so that goes from the 28th minute to the 57th. I think we need to speak about something now that is very important to the game, but is understandably not shown in the highlights, because right on half-time, Hibs get a corner through, I don't even know how to explain it, through the deflection of Stephen Kingsley as he's at full stretch, and immediately he pulls up and has his hand up being like, wait now. Then the game kind of carries on for a wee bit. It kind of ends up with us. Rolls then passes it to Kingsley, and Kingsley plays it out to Vargas, and he just sits down. Obviously, we now know he got stretchered off. As we're sat here on the 10th recording, we've not had any update. We know he's going for a scan at the start of this week. However, it's not come out what the results of that are. I imagine it's either a hamstring tear or a groin tear. He seemed to be holding his groin from my perspective. And listen, I've kind of got two questions for you. One, how much of a nightmare is this for our season generally with now you could make an argument that the three players we'd have in start and fullback positions are all out for a minimum period of time. But two, was the substitution and decision to bump everybody up one the correct one, now looking back in hindsight?
The first one, massive bearing on our season. That's incredibly annoying, incredibly infuriating. And in terms of the second one, no, because I called it to my mates. I thought Andy Halliday was the like-for-like change. You keep everything exactly the same.
I think I literally went, oh, for fuck's sake, it means we're going to have to play Halliday.
One of my mates wasn't best pleased when I did say that. However, I think what is now abundantly clear is Andy Halliday is not wanted by the Hearts hierarchy.
Oh yeah, definitely not.
It's just become so apparent. If a right back's coming on in your place and everybody then shuffles one over, that to me just speaks volumes. So, yeah. I mean, I noticed he wasn't on open goal on Monday.
Oh, was he not?
No, I don't know if he's been on Clyde One Super Scoreboard this week, but certainly I listened to him Mondays, and it was Kenny Miller and Roger Hanna. So, I don't know what's happened to Andy Halliday. Maybe he's just looking forward to the semi-final. I don't know.
My stance on, because I had a few people tweet being like, what did you want to happen? Because we know that you're not Andy Halliday's biggest fan. My reaction was, I don't like it, but Halliday should come on here. And that's not even necessarily me going, oh, Andy Halliday shit. I was more worried like, it's a guy who hasn't played a lot of games up against the pace of Martin Boyle or Ellie Ewan on the other side. And that worried me. But at the same time, I was saying literally to my brother, I was like, it keeps everybody in their settled positions that was doing well, because Rolls and Kent were solid at the back, and whilst Doidge was winning stuff in the air, it was an equal balance between him and Kent. Rolls was doing well to bring it forward, and Sibic was really solid at right back. I think what this taught us, and he's been getting a lot of stick, and a lot of it is justified, but I think it's proof that when Kai Rolls is not with Frankie Kent, our defence is weaker as a result.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Because I think Rolls actually played well even when he went to left back.
Yeah, I think he needs a big bully alongside him, even Craig Halkett, previously. Like it doesn't. I don't know. It's as though he needs that assurance elsewhere. I look at it and I'm just baffled. Like it really annoys me that defensively I don't. Why would you not go like for like and just keep everything exactly the same way that it was? I, I don't I don't know. It speaks volumes, McIver, that Hearts defensive unit. I mean, I forgot Dylan Venti was even playing,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we spoke about him pre-match.
Mm-hmm.
The threat that he poses, the track record that he's got. All he had was that free kick. I genuinely couldn't tell you anything else that he did.
Yeah, true.
And Big Doige, who in 2023, I'm not being funny with, we should be able to cope with. So, just baffling. But again, this squad, there's gaps, and we see this like I said it after when I was talking to my dad after the game. Like we've needed a right back since Michael Smith. We knew that Michael Smith was finished.
Yeah.
And we're still, do you know what I mean? We're still pissed about with that position.
Yeah.
You've literally had the entirety of Smith's last season at the club. Everybody mouths off about how Hearts are a big club in that, but if we were such a big club, we'd act like a big club, and we don't act like a big club in terms of like these targets and having ready-made replacements in place. Left back again, Cochrane, Kingsley. Okay, that's fine. And yes, it is just freak that both are out simultaneously. Andy Halliday can play left back. If you don't want Andy Halliday, then what's he still doing here? I know it's easy to say this, but there must be suitors. You're not trying to tell me that most of the other clubs in Scotland's top tier, particularly bottom half, would kill for a player of Andy Halliday's calibre. I like Halliday. I think he's a decent enough squad player. I think he fills in and doesn't necessarily get the credit that he deserves sometimes, in my opinion. But if he's surplus to requirements, then there's no way that he should still be hanging about.
Yeah, definitely. However, we still had some... At this point, it was still all going well, because in the 57th minute, we score again. This is a sentence that I think I said constantly for an hour. Poor corner from Alex Lowry.
Oh my God, mate. I can't believe you've even waited so long to say it. But the Forest goal literally comes from a poor corner as well. It's just to keep it alive.
I think, though, that's not just Alex Lowry putting shit balls in.
Oh, it's nothing new.
It's a tactic, though.
And it's absolutely nothing new. I mean, my dad used to mouth off all the time that he'd been following Hearts for 40, 50 years and hadn't seen a score from a corner once.
Yeah, exactly. So, we're always shit from corners.
We've always been shit from corners. I've got no qualms about that.
This decision to keep hitting the front post is clearly tactical.
But it's insanity.
I don't understand why the tactic isn't hit Kent at the back post and head it back across.
You literally see our big players come up from the back, and instead we decide to take. I'm not being funny. If I was Frankie Kent, I'd be chapping Stephen Naismith's door like, "What's the point in bringing me up for a corner? So next time, just leave me up at the back.
Yeah,
I don't even want to come up for it.
Yeah, 100%.
And we don't even work it short to somebody to then have it back out to the initial taker to then cross.
No, exactly.
So it's a total waste of time.
Yeah, it's pointless. But this one does end up back at the original taker, as it ends up back with Lowry, who cuts past and gets into the box and just kind of drills a ball generally in the face of goal. I don't know if it's a shot or a cross or what he's trying to do. I think his logic is just get this in there and see what happens.
Chuck it in the blender and we'll see what comes out.
Exactly. And what comes out is Christian Doidge's foot as it then flicks up, goes past Marshall. It's 2-0. We're loving life. It's all going great. Good. It's just wonderful. And then 2 minutes later, what I think changes the game. 60th minute, Alex Lowry is replaced. Now, when it happened, I went, well, he must be hurt. He must have signalled to the bench, being like, my calf or my hamstring or something, I'm not feeling right. Because that has to be the only reason he's been taken off. But I was like, right, fine. Look, if he's been taken off, he's been taken off. That's all right. Then you see that it's Benny Beningame coming on for him. And you're like, okay. So we're clearly going to a new system. And very quickly, you realise, we're in a 4-3-3. The back four is still Rolls, Kent, Sibic, and Ofaya, who I forgot to mention was the person that came on for Kingsley. That's the back four. Then a three of Devlin, Benny, and Neuenhoff, with Vargas and Forrest either side and Shanklin through the middle. Immediately, I went, I don't think that's a great idea, because suddenly you've got three players, two of them are extremely defensive. Devlin is defensive, but it's still energetic, and Neuenhoff is more of an 8. But still, I think it could be fair.
Trio of midfielders that we've seen for a long time.
It's fair, and I don't think I would argue with anybody who says that's 3 defensive midfielders. 100%. I don't think I'd argue with anybody. And what immediately happened was, for an hour, we're dominating the ball. Yes, we're not. I don't think we're creating loads of chances, but at that point, you don't need to. You're 2-0 up. You just control the game. You just kind of see it out. What then happened was, immediately, Hibs start getting on the ball, going wide, because I felt that when we had the 4-2-3-1, despite it being the same physical number of people, there's still 3 in there, it felt like we were winning the midfield battle. Like, Lowry was picking up pockets, he was getting in behind, he was drifting between lines, he was everything was going.
I felt like we were going to make stuff happen, or that we could easily catch them on the break, or at least attempt to try and carve out opportunities and chances.
Yes, definitely.
But that trio, that is just absolute suicide.
And all 3 of them,
it really is.
All 3 of them are good players.
Yeah,
on their own. That's not saying, so now we need to get rid of any of them. Absolutely not.
As a combination, as a trio, that cannot. I'm surprised he left Devlin on as long as he did as well.
I thought when I saw Benny warming up, I was like for like. Right, that's what's happening.
Particularly when you've got Grant and Boyce on the bench for Lowry.
Yeah,
you then think if Lowry has to come off, it's for either Liam Boyce, which we'd love, or George Grant. Again, don't mind it.
Yeah,
you've kept the same shape, you've kept the same identity, the same idea, the same way of thinking, the same attempt at playing. That's just. And I will say this, because I would, if this was Robbie Nielsen in the dugout, I would be one of the first to slew him.
You've stolen my thunder. I was ready to be like, if this was Nielsen, I would be giving him pelters. Yeah.
And it's true. I would. But by the same score, McIver, I do blame the manager and I don't.
I do.
I do for the changes. But I'm sorry. Individual errors are ultimately what cost us today.
This is what
or in this game, I should say. Not today.
I'm just going to run through the next 90 seconds as one.
This is like nothing I've ever seen. This is genuinely like nothing I have ever seen in my life. I left astounded by what I just witnessed.
I imagine.
Not even leaving, sorry. This was like I watched it with my mouth gaping wide open. What the fuck have I just witnessed?
So I imagine if you were a neutral, you would have been enjoying this on Sky Sports until, oh wait, of course not, you're not. But
you were watching St Mirren Rangers on Sunday.
Actually. It's the 66th minute. Hibs score. Abita crosses the ball into the box. It's headed out to Benny, who just fresh air swipes at it, basically. Joe Newell plays it into the box. It kind of smashes. It hits off Sibic, lands at the feet of Yuan, and goes in. And you're like,
legs. It goes through Sibic's legs. I mean, just.
I don't think it does. I think it hits off his ankle.
I'm convinced it hits off his ankle, his right ankle, and then trickles through.
Oh, I thought it just hit his leg.
Between both legs.
Well,
but again, Benny and Sibic are the two at fault here.
So you're like, right,
and maybe Clark, but given the range, he's not expected to save it.
You're like, right, okay, that's a nightmare.
That's annoying.
In the first 5, I was like, in these 5 minutes, this has been coming. Hibs had been pushing forward in that immediate 5-6 minute period. And I was
since the change of shape.
Yeah. It was like, right, okay. But look, it's all right. We've conceded. That happens. You just ride it out. Straight away.
Oh, no. This is the bit that angers me.
We take kick-off, it ends up back at Civic, and Civic sends it long, and it goes out for a Hibs throw.
That is the definition of rattled. That is a man that is rattled.
Yeah, that's somebody who's like, I don't want to deal with the ball just now. Get it away.
Keep me off the ball.
Yeah, basically. Hibs then take the throw. I think Boyle is the one driving down the far side.
He is, because of the video that's emerged from the away end.
Oh, of course. Yeah. The ball's then played into the box. And listen, as I was saying to you there, I don't know if Civic can be... I don't know if blame is the right word for the first goal, because it's one of those moments where it's like, his feet, he's got... He might... The extent of it, you might go, he's not got his feet sorted, but it stramashes and it hits off him and stuff like that.
There's a couple that are culpable.
Yes, exactly. Benny Fresher swiping at it and stuff like that.
Not necessarily to blame.
This one, the only way I can explain it is that Civic just passes it to Eliuan. And like, this is the thing, I laughed at the time because I couldn't believe it. I wasn't angry, I laughed because I was like
this.
I was just like, that's deliberate. Can we see if Toby's actually, if the song's wrong and he didn't turn them down, he's been waiting for this moment to rip his shirt off.
I didn't think he was when I saw him dink at Easter Road. But now I'm starting to have second doubts.
He just puts it on a plate for you, Anne, basically. It's 2-2 within 90 seconds. And just, again, that's like an individual error where I was speaking to my dad afterwards and he made a good point about Civic where it was like, has anybody ever seen Civic have an all right game? Because Civic seems to either have like, remember that period at the end of last season where we were just being shit?
Form was like the Andes.
But everybody was like, oh, at least Civic was good. Like every game we were shit, but it was like, Civic's been good, Civic's been good, Civic's been good. So Civic is either like one of the standouts for all the best reasons,
or fucking abysmal,
or he's hopeless. And I'm like, that's fascinating because we've had players who are shit for like most of their time, and then they'll have flashes of brilliance, but generally they revert to mean. And then the opposite side, we've had players like Rudy who would do fuck all in a game and then win you a game.
I'm not being funny, McIver. That's why he's at Hearts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if he performed his maximum all the time, in terms of his attributes, he's got everything that you could want in a modern day centre half.
Yeah.
He's big, he's strong, he's quick, he can play, he can finish. Like
yes, exactly.
But this is just lunacy.
It's just a guy who's worried that he's just made a mistake and he doesn't want the ball in the air.
Wild. It reeked of Hampden, where he should just punt the ball in for a throw-in.
Yeah.
But even like, how am I best saying this? The centre that we take, that shouldn't end up in the main stand. The pass that you give to Eliuan should. Yes. I should be heading that back from row 34 event. I should be getting ready to go doom, and for it to hit this massive bonds and for it to just end up in end somewhere. Just put your fucking foot through it.
He's got them the wrong way around.
It's the perfect layoff. It's in his path. It's in his path. Eliuan had done absolutely nothing for the best part of an hour. Now they're talking about man of the match, and he just about walked away with the match ball. Goodness gracious me!
As I say, I was literally laughing because I was just like, of course this has happened.
I wasn't. I was looking at all the Jakies in the Roseburn stand going absolutely nuts, and they couldn't believe it. Neither could I. It was absolute pandemonium in that stand.
I will say, on this, obviously, you never want to praise Hibs, but it's I say this as someone who I imagine a neutral's perspective. It is just a million miles better than the Old Firm right now because you get that.
The debate.
Whilst we hate it that they had that moment, it's like that's what you live for as a fan.
I looked on in envy. I thought that is absolute carnage.
I disagree with the folk being like, Why are they celebrating a 2-2 draw like that and stuff like that?
Peace.
I'd be going mental if
From
that was
2-0 down and you've scored 2 goals in the space of a minute and a half.
Yeah, I can understand folk who are like, look, you should only celebrate when you win.
I get that. But in terms of like the circumstance plays a massive part.
Context is key to it.
Of course it is. I'd be going tonto.
Yeah, I'd be going absolutely mental. But
I was going tonto.
Exactly.
For the wrong reasons.
We were all going mental for the wrong reasons. And then, to be honest, I think Hearts TV does well to get as many highlights out of the remaining 15 minutes that they do, because Shankland does well. He beat about 5 Hibs players on the edge of the box, but his effort ends up high and wide. A flyer crosses into the Hibs box. It's cleared out. It's met by Rolls, whose effort is very heavily deflected up and onto the bar.
You said about Shankland.
Yeah.
I forgot Dylan Venti was playing. I also forgot Lauren Shankland was really playing.
Yeah,
what is going on with him?
What
is happening? Because he is one of the key kind of, I don't want to say contributors to Hearts Twitter conflict, but
I know
every positive that you see, every positive tweet that you see about him, there's definitely a negative one.
Yeah.
It's a real conundrum up front.
And it seems to be falling into that thing of like, is he to blame fully? Is Naismith to blame fully? Is it a 50-50? I'd argue
we need Craig Gordon back ASAP.
Oh yeah, we do. I've seen today there was an article being like, Xander Clark prepares to battle it out.
Not interested.
It shouldn't be a battle. It should be that Craig Gordon comes back in immediately. As I said last week, where it was like, of course Gordon just gets the captaincy. Yeah. Of course Gordon just comes in and is number 1 again.
It's not even a debate.
Yeah. And then finally, the last highlight. The last highlight is that Benny hits an effort over the bar in the box. The one player that you don't want the ball for. As I said, it looks like he doesn't know. Yeah, biscuits. Just biscuits. He doesn't know how to shoot. He's a professional footballer.
Digestive legs.
He doesn't know how to. So,
what a guy.
The game finishes 2-2. And as you hinted at earlier, the discussion in Hearts Twitter has been, is it entirely down to Naismith? Or is it entirely down to individual errors? I think it's down the middle. I think it's very silly to suggest that the individual errors didn't cost us when they are so directly at the cause of goals.
Oh, without a doubt.
But I will say
the changes killed momentum.
I think if he doesn't make that change, we go on to win that game.
Oh.
And what I mean by that is, I don't mean taking Alex Lowry off. I've seen a lot of people be like, oh, well, so you just wanted to keep playing Alex Lowry? One, yes, I would. I wouldn't have brought Lowry off, right?
He was brilliant, to be fair.
We've seen afterwards, Naismith said he was tired.
Piece delivery.
Yeah, exactly. Naismith said he was tired. I just don't believe that. I just think that's made up for Naismith to cover his back. Because
I'm not being funny. How old is he?
Yeah, he shouldn't. 21. If he's tired, he shouldn't be.
If he's tired, then the level that you're playing at is far too heavy.
Yeah, and I never once thought he looked tired either. I never was like, oh bloody hell, Alex looks tired. And also, it's not like he was doing the Alan Forrest or Kenny Vargas roles where he's sprinting up and down the byline all the time. It's like, no, he was the creative 10,
just chilling.
Yeah, exactly. So I disagree with that. But fine. If people are like, no, Lowry should have come off, then as you said, like for like, you've got 2 players sat on the bench there. One of them, as I always say,
is in form.
One's in form, and the other one, in my opinion, is the best forward I've seen at the club in my life. So, and listen, we've now been doing this podcast for several seasons. I've always put my flag on the mast, being like, I don't care what managers say in post-match stuff, right? And I don't, but I don't know if you saw the thread from Craig Fowler in the immediate aftermath of the game. I'm going to get it up because I really agree with what Craig says here. I know Craig Fowler isn't beloved by everyone in the Hearts fan base, but I agree with him. So Fowler said, The thing that really pissed me off about today is that I keep looking back at Naismith's introductory press conference, where he made a huge point about how Hearts and their fans deserved better in terms of style of play. We were too big a club to accept otherwise. That was clearly a dig at Nielsen, and it's easy for fans to lap up. Even as a big Robbie fan and apologist, I bought into it. The football was better to watch, but it's clear that those ideals were a load of guff. If Naismith believed what he said, you don't take an attacking midfielder off for a defensive midfielder at 2-0 up. You don't bring everybody back for every corner that you concede. I don't think the Lowry sub cost Hearts 2 goals, and he may have not had much left in the tank to add anything once it goes to 2-2. But the game today brought home the disingenuousness of Naismith and what he apparently stands for or stood for. That sub was the kind of sub that, as much as folk can roll their eyes about this, wasn't the kind of sub a Hearts manager makes against Hibs at Tynecastle. He was unlucky today. The Kingsley injury was big, even though Rolls was great at left back because it disrupted a previously solid back four. But I can't be the only Hearts fan who just can't take to him because of what he said in April and what we've seen every week this season. So that was, as I say, Craig Fowler in the immediate aftermath of the game. I can't disagree with really a word he says there.
No, you stumped me as well. I think he's hit the nail on the head there, to be quite honest with you.
And as I say, I don't really read into what managers say, but I thought it was very disingenuous in Naismith to say the quote, "We were playing well, we had loads of possessions, and it's 89 seconds of madness." I think that emits blame on you. I think that's you saying, well, nothing else changed except the 2 errors. Yeah. It's like what you've missed out there is a change that you made that allowed the opposition back into the game that then led to, yes, individual errors that Naismith cannot plan for and cannot be blamed for. Civic not punting it, Benny air swiping. Of course, I'm not saying Naismith's responsible for that. I'm not saying that's a tactic. Like that's what he's telling them to do. But for putting them in the position that they were in, that's on Naismith.
Yeah, and again, like you're kind of, I don't know if I'm being too harsh here, but your mindset and the kind of frame of mind that you have often should come from the manager.
Yeah, of course.
If Toby Civic is that rattled by Hibbs' goal, so much so that he boots it out of play, surely there should come an instruction from Stephen Naismith to say, or from one of your teammates, calm down. Let's just see out the storm for a couple minutes more. Get back to what you were doing, and we'll take it from there. I think a lot of it, from a Hearts perspective, is mental as well as physical.
Yeah,
and
that's
I think
totally
we caved. Hibs had done nothing, McIver. Hibs hadn't had a sniff for an hour. All it took was for one goal from Eli Yuan, and all of a sudden, we are absolutely papping our pants.
Yeah.
Whether that comes from the manager or not is irrelevant, but the players need to take some responsibility as well, because they've allowed this kind of mindset to creep in, to be too worried about making a mistake. And I know that the crowd got on their back, but the crowd have every right to. They pay their money, they come along.
I think an element of that, though,
getting behind the players as best as we can. I totally agree with that. But this is an Edinburgh Derby. There is no hiding place.
Oh, that wasn't what I was going to say. What I was going to say was, do you know
the magnitude of the occasion in the game?
Yeah, totally.
You know what it means to the fans.
Do you not think, though, that potential mental fragility is coming from
down to how severe the game is?
No, it's coming from previous games where this manager has set us up and mistakes have been made. So you think, oh shit, we've made another mistake, and the last time we've done it, we've fucked it. And it's just human nature to be like, oh, bollocks, it's going to happen again. Even though you don't, like, there was nothing in that game that suggested it, but there's been a lot in this season to suggest it.
The players maybe aren't aware of how much we were cruising.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it just...
But again, do you not think that maybe comes from the fact that their manager has just brought off the best attacker for the defender? Does that maybe make you go, oh, wait, hold on, does he think that we're under the cosh here? I thought we were doing all right.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Look, at the end of the day, it was... a combination of everything that could have gone wrong ultimately did go wrong.
Absolutely. And listen, let's be honest. We have been on the other end of that in this fixture a lot of times. Where the one I compared it to, not the same result, obviously, but remember that derby at Easter Road in the Cup where Stevenson scored the raker?
Oh.
And it was like, if we didn't have Jamie McDonald that night, it would have been about 4-0 before Stevenson
should have
scored.
been out of sight.
Yeah. And we have a lot of stories like that where it's like, oh, we were really shite, but we still got it. Yeah. So it is just one of them. It's like, you have to grin and bear it. It's part of being the derby and stuff like that.
It's parcel of the fixture.
Exactly. Yeah. So.
But it's horrible.
We obviously...
Absolutely horrible.
We won't be back next week because there's currently a stupid thing as an international break.
Yeah.
But
at least Scotland might make it to the Euros, but we won't because we'll get absolutely pumped.
Yeah, we'll probably get battered off Spain. Yeah. But we then come back, and it's just the small task of the reigning champions.
Only the league leaders, only the side that haven't lost a league game as of yet. They've only dropped 2 points. Yeah. What could go wrong?
How do you think it's going to go? They're not the Celtic that has happened. The Celtic that we've had in the last couple of years. However, I think it'll be about 4-0 them because it's always 4-0 them.
I have a debate amongst kind of Celtic fans that I know. I believe that Tynecastle right now is as easy as it's ever been for the Old Firm to come and claim 3 points. I really do. I think last
weirdly
season,
not Celtic though. Celtic we keep giving games to.
At least Celtic will lay a glove on them. But
Rangers just seem to turn up in whatever state they are.
Oh my god! I mean, Ryan Kent was looking like Diego Maradona last season against us. Yeah,
but weirdly Celtic.
Alfredo Morelos grabbed his customary goal and scored against absolutely nobody else.
Exactly. Celtic have come and yes, they've won the games, but in the last 2 seasons we've beat them.
They've had to at least work for it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it is weird, but I always like it is.
You know that Stephen Naismith will be right up for it. That goes without saying.
Yeah. I just always in my head basically mentally check out of games against the Old Firm because in my head I'm there.
So Andy Halliday if he gets to start at left back.
Oh, great! Yeah, that'll go great. I'm sure.
I'll wait to see him up against Luis Palma.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. I'm there, like for example, I'll be there against Celtic. I'll be fucking furious when we lose. But there is a part of me that I'm like, yep, this is what was going to happen anyway. So I don't get as annoyed.
I often just forget that we play the Old Firm in Glasgow. I just put myself in another mind frame. I try and alienate myself from football and wonder what life is like as somebody that isn't into football, and then I realise that life is shit if you're not into football. Yeah, so
exactly,
there is that. How do I think it's going to go? Terribly. To answer your question, your initial question, it'd be so hard though, wouldn't it?
To win.
If they just pulled something out their bag just for this game and this game only, and then we'll probably go and get absolutely smashed at Ibrox the week after. Don't know what to expect, but probably a Celtic win.
I think that's fair.
Maybe like 2 clear goals. 2-0 or 3-1 or something like that.
I'm sticking with my 4-0. I don't think we're going to get battered.
Maybe a 3. Yeah, I'll go a slightly more optimistic 3. But I'm just glad that. No, I'm not glad the international break's here. I'm talking nonsense. Let's move on.
Well, we will move on to the quiz as ever. Now.
Oh, great!
I'll be honest.
This will be sure to pick me up after the weekend.
Exactly. I'm chuffed with this quiz. Now, I don't know if that means it's too easy or it's too hard. I think one of the questions in this is way too easy, but I was struggling to think of a final question. I was like, I'll give him... He's had a bad few days with the result. I'll give him one.
You know what? It's World Mental Health Day, so I appreciate you looking out for my welfare. That's very kind of you. I really do appreciate that. But equally, when I get it wrong and embarrass myself,
it's even worse.
I could send me the other way, so we'll see.
We'll see. So, as ever, 2 normal questions, multiple choice, true or false, and then we end with the who am I. So, we're starting with, again, let's see if you pay attention to who you follow on Twitter.
Oh, shit. I didn't look at my phone after the game.
How many yellow cards does Cammy Devlin have in his 6 starts?
This season?
This season. He's played 6 games. He started 6 games, sorry. How many yellow cards does he have?
Pretty funny to see all 6, wouldn't it?
You know it's not all 6 because he would have been suspended.
Yeah.
So there, you can pick between 1 and 5.
Do you not get suspended after 5?
I genuinely can't remember. I thought
I've heard no reason as to why he would be suspended. I thought 4.
He's off. He's 1 and 1. It's 4. He's got it.
Nice. Who posted that?
Mark Donaldson was speaking about how he needs to improve his discipline.
Sorry, Donkey didn't see it.
Yep.
I was too upset, and Hearts me as well. So
yeah, it's just all going wrong. So
never getting a strongly worded email tomorrow. I tell you.
Well, here's the multiple choice, and we're in the international break, so I thought I'd put a Scotland-related Hearts question.
Jesus, this is not good.
Which Scotland legend played his last Scotland game at Tynecastle? Is it A, Ali McCoist? Is it B, Colin Hendry? Is it C, Kenny Dalglish? Or is it D, Gordon Strachan?
Ooh.
I'm chuffed with this, Ian. It's a good question.
I like it because I don't have the foggiest.
Okay, right.
Can you say what the game was? Not necessarily when it was, but was it a friendly or was it a full qualifier or what? I'm assuming it was a friendly if it was at Tiny.
Give me a second. I can find out now for you. It was... Oh, it doesn't say. It just said... I can tell you who we played and what the score was. We won 3-2 against Estonia. I imagine that's a friendly.
Right. Okay. I don't know. No idea. Ali McCoy speaks passionately about Tynecastle. He seems to really like Tynecastle.
He's a big fan. Hearty Harry and all that.
Need to get Mark McKenzie on here actually and talk about that. Kilkenny, would it be Kilkenny? Who are my others? Colin Hendry and
Gordon Strachan.
Gordon Strachan. It'd be quite funny if it was Gordon Strachan given that he's a big Hibs man. They'll just say that for the patter, even though I think it's McCoist.
Who are you going with?
Oh, I don't know. It doesn't matter anyway, does it? Let's go with Strachan for the patter.
The answer is Ali McCoist.
Oh, you bastard. Well, I was going to go as well.
It's actually, there was 2 players who made the last game for Scotland. It was Ali McCoist and Jim Leighton, both ends of the pitch. Yep.
Wow.
It was 1998.
Jim Leighton, you had...
Yep, exactly. So
1980 or 1998?
1998, yeah.
I was going to say, I remember Ali McCoy scored at Euro 96, so unless I'm rewriting history here.
Yeah, so 1 for 2. So that's fine. So, true or false?
I had no chance for that second, let's be honest, but carry on.
But, true or false? Before the last 2 games, Alan Forrest had never scored in back-to-back games in his career.
Oh. So this is either for Livingston or Ayr previously?
Well, I'm just saying, in his career, because he obviously scored at Ross County and then scored at Hibs, I'm saying that Alan Forrest has never done that before in his career, either at us, Livingston, or Ayr. Is that true or false?
I've been inclined to say it's true, but I feel like it's false.
That is the ultimate fence-sitting answer.
I will go for false.
The answer, if you paid attention to your own quiz last week,
is true.
Is false, because he, of course, scored against Riga and then Motherwell.
Oh, of course. Yes, of course.
That was the easy give you question. You got it right, though. So you didn't get it right for the reason I thought you'd get it right, but you got it right.
It was sheer luck.
So it's fine.
Right. Jesus, right. I forgot. Oh my God. Grow up. Wakey.
So, and I was even.
Had you done it for Livingston or Ayr?
I don't know. I was nice to you because I could have said, yeah, at Livingston or Ayr, and you could have taken a 50-50 guess at it. But I was like, no, I'll include that.
I pretty much did do that anyway.
Yeah, you basically did, yeah. Right. It's a time question for you, the final one.
What a shocker. Yes.
Which was quicker? The double Ellie Ewan scored at the weekend.
Piss off.
Or the double Graham Weir scored in the 4 each.
Oh, what a belter of a question.
Now, if you want, I can give you the time of Ellie Yuan's double.
Which I think was 83 seconds, 82?
86.
86.
Yep. So, do you think that was quicker than Graham Weir's double?
How is it close? It must be close.
It is not close either way. So one of them is a lot quicker.
You're the type of cynical man that would do this. I think you're going to say that the LUAN's was quicker.
Is that your answer?
Yes.
So LUN, as I said, it was 86 seconds for his 2 goals. Graham Weir took 42 seconds.
For both goals?
For both goals. Hibs
way.
Hibs go 3-2 up in the 89th minute, 4-2 up in the 92nd minute, and in the 94th minute, Graham Weir scores twice.
Oh my God. Wow.
I couldn't believe that. So yeah,
42 seconds.
86 seconds to 42 seconds.
No way.
That's mental. I thought it would be like 86 seconds to 73 seconds or something like that.
I was thinking like 90 seconds.
Yeah.
42 seconds. Yeah. Wow.
Fair play, Graham. Fair play. So
that was probably the first derby that I was alive for and actually like went
aware of
for. Yeah.
So you got 2 out of 4.
I was 4 years old. I'm 26 in June. Keys a break. I can feel folk raging at me.
My dad always tells me the story that because back in the days, obviously, mobile phone signal wasn't amazing, and his mate was in the Hibs end who was a Hibs fan, and then the time it took him, he sent a text laughing, and it finished 4-4.
Oh, which is great. Sensational.
Which is great. So, the Who Am I? 2 out of 4 is no bad.
It's not bad, but the Ali McCoy question is annoying given that I had no chance for Graham Weir, though. Should have done my research.
No. So, the Who Am I? I will say, this Who Am I is suggested by my brother, Keir McIver.
Oh, it might be in my shout then, because Keir's even younger than us. So.
Yes, he is. So, we'll see.
Fingers crossed.
So, I have played in Russia, Scotland, Lithuania, and Poland throughout my career.
Okay.
In the time that I was at Hearts, I was never booked, never sent off, never scored, and never got an assist. I played.
Meaningful Hearts career then.
Yep. I played for over 10 clubs, but the most number of games I ever played for a single club was 40. Despite being at Hearts for 18 months, I only made 7 appearances. But whilst it may sound like my career wasn't very eventful, I have scored multiple goals in a European competition. Who am I?
7 appearances for Hearts in 18 months?
Yeah. Getting this man's Wikipedia up.
Good Lord. Oh my God. That sounds horrible.
You have your 2 questions. Use them wisely.
What did you say the nations were that he played in? Sorry.
He has played in Russia, Scotland, Lithuania, and Poland.
Yikes. Oh. I hate this shit game. My first question is going to be no. They have to be a striker with a word into that. I'm going to ask what nationality they are, McIver, because I feel like then I'd have a chance.
This individual is Lithuanian.
Right. Okay. A Lithuanian that made 7 appearances in 18 months. I mean, that could apply to the vast majority of Lithuanians.
Yeah,
so I don't know why I've done
this.
Have. That really was a silly question.
I thought you just assumed they were Lithuanian because they played in Lithuania.
I know, but then I know what you're like.
Aye, because it could be somebody who
some obscure, like, I don't know, you just end up in Kaunas. I mean, Vladimir Romanov would have taken anybody if he could.
Exactly.
So let's be honest. aware this is terrible for a podcast. I do apologise. The eerie silence as the cogs are trying to turn in my brain.
However, I imagine a few people are in the exact same boat.
I'm struggling, team. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, a Lithuanian has played 7 games in 18 months. You'd be as well asking me what I think the forecast in Dubai is going to be for the next year.
I imagine quite hot. Basically, apart from Scottish, it's the worst nationality for a Hearts player to be for you to try and guess.
Thanks, mate. I was going to say thanks, Kier.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not taking any blame here.
What a knob.
Exactly. You do have another question.
I know, but what do you ask?
What is their full name?
Like it was obviously the Romanov era as well, so... I don't want to ask for clubs as well, because, what use is that, really? Oh, God. Can I ask who they scored the goals in the club competition that you said for?
Yeah, of course. So he scored 2 goals for FK Taurus Taraj of Lithuania. I'll even give you the specific competition in the qualifiers for the Europa League.
I remember it now.
That's it. You've got it. You've got it.
Tuned in.
I'll even tell you the year. It was 2010.
That's it. I mean, I was just so lucky because obviously I saw that, and then we played Tottenham thereafter, and just able to replicate
exactly.
These Lithuanian jobbers in their European qualifier, and this man scored twice. I remember it so well. I can remember his face after scoring them both. No idea.
I will tell you right now.
You said that Kisnavicius, have you not? Because he's the only one that's popping into my head.
Have I? I don't think I have.
He's the only one that's popping into my head. It's not going to be Velichka. It's not going to be anybody else. I'm just going to go with him. And it was Andreas Kisnavicius?
It was indeed. So, I can let you know that.
It was not Andreas Kisnavicius.
It was not Andreas Kisnavicius. It was a man that I had never heard of, so would have been very surprised if you got it. It was the famous for FK Taurus Taraj of Lithuania, Marius Kizis. Kizzys. Kizzies? Can I do your...
You're making him up.
Can I... No, wait, don't. I don't want you to spoil this. Can I read you his full Wikipedia page?
Sure. I'd be honoured.
Marius Kiris, born 21st of February 1982, is a professional Lithuanian footballer. He is currently playing for Vang Tuvup IF. Previously...
He's still playing?
Yep. Previously, he has played for
He's
FAK
41.
Kaunas, FK Salute, LKS Lords, and Scottish Premier side Heart of Midlothian.
Love your pronunciation, can I just say?
Thank you very much. That is the end of his Wikipedia page. He has 2.5 lines of a Wikipedia page. Go onto it now and have a look so you can see I'm not lying.
How long that it would take.
Do you understand how hard it was to fucking get clues for this man?
Marius Kizzi's born professional football.
Adam's reading it. He can now see how small. It then comes up with this I can't even talk.
It doesn't mention his time at LKS Lodz.
I know. What an embarrassment.
Gornik Zabrze or...
Yep.
Yeah. Or
I like how you looked at the other bigger names.
Novgorod. Yeah.
Yep, there you go. It also says this biographical article relating to Lithuanian football is a stub, meaning it is the smallest type of Wikipedia article possible.
Hold on a second. I'm just looking at his clubs.
Yeah.
He stopped playing for FC Nizhny Novgorod, age 30 in 2012, and then didn't pick up another club until he was 35.
Oh, yeah.
5 years. What happened between 2012 and 2017?
I saw
he did not play for us. Who is he?
I don't know.
How do you pop into Caresweed noggin?
Well, this is what I don't understand. I think
There's not even a photo of him on bloody Google.
It's not.
This man did not exist.
I have a feeling Keir has made this Wikipedia page for me. And his transfer
we can see your loopholes.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
For FK Taurus. Who? FK Taurus.
They are a team.
Taurus.
I saw them on Transfermarkt.
Who was this? Who was it against?
I don't know. It just said he scored twice for them in Europa League qualifying.
Europa League qualifying 2010. Because I remember it well. I'm just refreshing.
Oh yeah, of course. You just want to see it again.
Yeah. Was it Llanelli?
Maybe.
I realised that we might have some Welsh listeners, so I've probably butchered that.
Do you know how hard look at that Wikipedia? That is all I had to go off making these clues.
Apoel. I think it was against Llanelli. Oh,
I've no idea.
Gracious me.
Can we just get a moment
just
of appreciation?
That Welsh football is an embarrassment.
Yeah. A moment of appreciation for me getting 5 clues out of that Wikipedia article.
Jay Bowen. Was that Jared Bowen?
Oh my God, imagine. 12 years ago.
Jared Bowen played for Llanelli.
When he was 10 or something.
Ridiculous. Oh my goodness gracious me. What a load of absolute tripe.
You didn't get it. If anybody did get it, you need to go outside more, basically, because that's mental.
I've just seen that finish 3-2 and he didn't even score. So did he score the 2 in Wales? I don't know.
Must have done. It just said on Transfermarkt, it just said 2 played, 2 goals. I like how if you find out this is wrong, you'll then claim that you would have got it. And you were just basing everything off those 2 goals.
Absolutely no chance of getting this. Not in a million years.
So yeah, blame Keir.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Knob.
He was so excited as well, he'd tell me.
Oh, I bet he was. It made me look like an absolute fanny. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Thanks, mate.
I want to check what he said. He was like, for next week's pod, you should do this. But Keir, in fairness, has found a photo of him. And I can...
No way. Let's see it.
I apologise. This is why you need to watch on YouTube. There.
Nah, bollocks. That's Photoshop. That man did not play for us.
It was on a Football Scotland. The 18 Hearts transfers you probably forgot happened.
Probably forgot? That's perhaps the understatement of the year. This man did not play for us. Who is he? If anybody gets him, like you say, they need to get out more. That is a disgrace.
We'll now have folk claiming they got it.
Yeah, well, exactly. We'll just see it through. We'll just see right through them because that is absolute tripe. That man did. Who is this guy?
Or he's listening, and he's like, "I got it. It was me." I'm actually I became a Hearts fan on the back of my time in Gorgie, and I'm offended greatly.
I wonder if lads hold them hostage somewhere, and if he's in his submarine, and this is how he punishes his victims. He just watches the Perth to Paisley podcast on repeat. Exactly. This is my club that you represented. You will now stay in my submarine underwater.
Hey, there's worse ways to go than listening to us.
Oh, not many.
I know many, in fairness. I think I'd rather be in a submarine than listen to us. But we hope you have enjoyed listening to us and don't feel like it's some form of weird Lithuanian torture. If you have, go and just leave us a review anyway and say it was nice, and just that would be lovely. All reviews on Podcast Platform helps us, but mainly leave positive ones. If you've been watching on YouTube and you just got to see the beautiful man that is Marius Kizzies, then please leave a like, comment, and subscribe about how much you love him. That would be absolutely fantastic. You can send us photos of him, because I bet folk will be like, well, I've got a photo of him when I was 10.
Me. Yeah. Here's me with him at the Greg's on Gorgie Road.
Exactly. Well, you can get that to us at Perth to Paisley on all the socials. perthtopaisley@gmail.com if you want to fire us over all your fan mail that we'll forward onto the submarine as well. Adam, where can they get you on all the socials?
You can catch my live stream of FK Taurus Taraj's best bits in the 2010-11 season at Adam T. Kendall. And what about yourself, McIver?
I'm at DMcIver22. We'll be back in 2 weeks to discuss all the fallout from the Celtic game, preview the Rangers game, and get Marius Kizzies on as a special guest to explain who he is. But until then, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Keep the faith, one of the JTs.